this is Karen. Welcome to DoLallyCrafts Christmas edition. This is the card we're going to make today. Really happy with the way this turned out, and I hope you'll enjoy making this as well. Okay, let's start. We will need early espresso cardstock, and the great thing with Stampin' Up! Now, we're using the Candy Cane Lane DSP, which is new for this season, and I absolutely love it. But what I like even more is the fact that when Stampin' Up! Now brings out DSP, it also brings out companion packs of cardstock. So you don't have to think, oh, what colours am I going to need to make cards with this paper? The card pack that the suggestions they've made with this are Real Red, Crumb Cake, and Early Espresso with Whisper White. I actually just bought the Real Red cardstock and the Early Espresso cardstock, and of course I've always got Whisper White on hand. So that's what we're using today, is the Early Espresso, some Whisper White. I'm not actually using Real Red because there's enough Real Red on there. Okay, the dimensions and the way that we're cutting these Z-fold cards out will all be mentioned on my blog, so you don't need to worry about that. So we will start off by adhering the paper. Okay, I'm back now. We can put the paper, the DSP, inside the card. I actually cut the card at 4 1/4 instead of the normal 4 inches in depth for this card. Now there's only a 1/4 inch difference in these two pieces from memory, so we stick I think this one's the 2 1/2 inch piece, and then we flip this one over. Also, just make sure when you're using the gingerbread man that you actually put it up the right way. There we go. I just alternated that slightly for inside the card. So that's the basics of the card done. And then the same with this bit. I'm actually flipping it over so that both sides of this DSP are shown on the card. Love this DSP, absolutely love it. And once again, there are 3 different sizes for these pieces, so just make sure with the smaller pieces that you're popping the right ones in the right sections. And last one is just in there. This is such an easy card to make. Yep, that's all right to go. Okay, so what we do, if you have the super strong tape from Stampin' Up!, this would be an ideal time to use it. I don't actually have it at the moment, so I'm just using snail. So there we go. That's how the card will actually sit. So we've got that basic bit done. Now to do a little bit of stamping. I've actually got a little bit of cardstock to go up the top where the greeting will go. That's oversized, it won't need to be that big. Now we use some Early Espresso to stamp our gingerbread man. So he can go there. He is gorgeous. Actually, I think I've stamped him too low on the card because they have to have a little bit of a white border around. So that's him stamped, and it's got a bit of grot on that side. So we'll go to this side for the sentiment. There we go. So we will actually pop him in to our cookie cutter and hope I didn't oh good, I didn't punch any of the sentiment out. Okay, so just get rid of these off-cut pieces into the bin, and now we'll cut around our sentiment, just giving maybe a 1/4 inch border all the way around, like so. And we'll stick this onto our little overhang. If you have a larger Christmas sentiment to go across the top, it would probably look better than this little one. However, I found that the sentiment I used on the top of the other card is actually a retired stamp set, so I decided not to use it. I'm actually waiting for my Tin of Cards Christmas stamp set to come out, but this one will still look good. So we just need a dimensional, which I've got around here somewhere. Whoops. So we'll just stick 2 dimensionals to the top here, just on one side, so that the card will still open. So just peel off the backing. 1, 2. Whoops, I'm losing down on the floor. Okay, so centre that as best you can there. And I've just realised I only got one piece of paper out there, and we actually need another 2 of our gingerbread men. So 1 there, and we'll do another one down here. There we go. These are gorgeous. Okay, so punch, and we'll get these little fellas out. My daughter, when she saw these, said, "Oh Mum, I want to borrow that. I want to make all of my class Christmas cards this year using this stamp set and the punch." I think that is so cute. So all of her school friends will be receiving very similar cards using these little fellas. Okay, we'll bring our basic jewels over. Now we need 6 black eyes and 6 red buttons for this little fella, and that's a message coming through on my phone. I do apologise. So we'll just colour these like so, and just let them dry a little bit while we fix these little fellas onto the card. So more dimensionals. Now with this one you have to have the dimensionals very close to each other, because there's only 1.25 inches of cardstock that this little fellow will be adhered to. So we just pop him there, and then the same with this little fella, although his dimensionals can be spaced a little bit further apart because he's got more of the card that he'll be attached to. So just place him over here like so. Now with this fella, he's actually going to be hidden behind the first fella. So, whoops, dimensionals on the back of him. And then we've got to hold him behind his mate here, like so, so that he's hidden, and then press them down together. So there we go. You can't really see him, and then when you open it up, oh, there's a third one there. Okay, hopefully these have dried a bit now. So I'll come in with the craft knife and we'll separate them all. Whoops, they don't want it. The red ones really don't want to separate it all. Okay, we've got an eye. Whoops. Got a button and an eye for him. And handy having the nails to touch them, because this way I'm not actually getting my fingerprints on, and as you can see they still sparkle. So another one. Oops. There he goes on there. Whoops. Move him over a little bit because we don't want the white of the eye showing. And then another one. I don't know what's going on today. I'm really being very cack-handed with my use of my craft knife, and I'm not quite sure why. Okay, last two eyes. One there. And that's it, one there. And now for all of the little buttons. So there we go, and we can actually go over those once more just to make them a little bit darker because of the early espresso behind. Can't really see the red. And then just to finish it off with a little bit more pizzazz, a large and then a couple of smaller ones on either side like so, and then one underneath there and one there, and then just there. We don't need one on the other end because that one's there. Okay, so there's the card finished. Now, if you're wondering where people would write or how they would write, on the back, a piece of Whisper White cardstock there with your sentiment, and there you go. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this card. Have a good week.